Going to do an insight video today, and I've been thinking a lot about sort of like creation and self-realization, and I've been thinking a lot about sort of like dimensional reality and consciousness and creation over the last few days. And I was sort of like I was going for a run again yesterday, and I just sort of was getting into like that deep space where you start to connect into sort of your energy, your vibration, your frequency. And I was thinking about thinking about like stages of sort of like realization within reality, within your experience. And I was sort of like I was leaning into it yesterday, or getting into the energy. And what come up for me yesterday was sort of like self mastery. And we use this term a lot in spirituality, and what does it really mean? So for me, like, what come up for me was like self mastery is realizing like the third dimension. And self mastery is about the third dimension. It's about, there's nothing out there. The out there-ness is sort of like the 3D reality, but it's the first step of like self-mastery, the understanding that that nothing is out there. And self-mastery is about sort of mastering your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, all those kind of things. And you start to really realize then that through self-mastery in the third dimension, this is a physical sort of dimension, a physical reality. And the step of self mastery is about understanding and managing it. So you manage your thoughts, you manage your feelings, you manage your emotions, but you also know that they all come from you. So again, the out there-ness is the understanding of like self mastery is that there's nothing out there. It's all a reflection. It's all like a reflection of what's been created within you and from you and through you. So you start to realize that whatever's happening out there is irrelevant. It's not really it's not reality. It's just this sense of getting sort of like caught up or entangled in things outside of yourself when actually you've got no control over them. So like the self mastery on a practical level is the understanding, like from a spiritual perspective, is that everything is energy, everything is vibrations, everything is frequency, and thoughts and feelings are energy and frequency, but they're all coming from you, through you, and as you, and they're working for you. Every experience is working for you. So that's the first step of like the 3D reality, self mastery. And self mastery is the first step along your sort of like journey of self realization, which is the goal. And it's not really a goal, but it's more being in a state of being. And I was thinking about this. So then, like the fourth dimension I was looking at, and the fourth dimension to me is transmutation and transformation. And transmutation again is related to consciousness, it's related to creation, it's related to source. Transmutation is different states of being, it's energy, vibration, and frequency. And it's the understanding that in sort of transmutation, that you can shift your energy at any time, and it all comes from you, and it's through you, and it's for you. And the universe works and is only reflecting what you're creating. So the transformation is that start. Is starting to live in your own frequency, your own vibration, your own energy, and it's the step into like creation and consciousness. And this is this is really sort of like practical in a way as well, because it's the understanding that at any moment you have the eternal moment, like the power of now, is always available to you. So it's a very practical thing, because you understand that your energy is you, and what you're creating through your energy is reflecting out into the reality, and is creating your reality, your experience. And you understand this, and it's like whatever you focus on and whatever you give a meaning to, is what you create. And this is the same with your thoughts, this is the same with your feelings. So it's all about like sensation, it's all about intuition. And that's the first step, is you start to sort of align with your source energy, your source vibration, your frequency. And this is the first step, is also consciously to start to understand that, like as a being of source energy, there's infinite potentials and infinite possibilities within this power of now moment. And that's all there is. This is now presence in this now moment. There is nothing else. So all frequencies and all vibrations are what are creating your reality, and they're creating through your consciousness. And your consciousness is directly connected to your creation. So you start to understand that 3D reality is the first step to self-mastery. And this is what they meant, I think the Ascended Masters meant when they were talking about like self-mastery, is the understanding that you are like this energetic being, you are this spiritual being or this source being of energy and frequency, and you should live through this source knowing that everything is always available, everything is always there for you, and you're never disconnected. There is no separation, there never has been. Again, it's this concept of like we're thinking we're separate when all these like dimensional realities and dimensional frequencies work in the oneness frequency, the infinite frequency, and each and every one of us are connected to that. But we are the creators of our own reality. We are creators of our own creation, and this is the understanding as well that we have this sort of seed of creation within us, and we've always had it in us, and at any time we can access it, and it's just going into stillness, it's going into this deep sense of vibration and frequency, and understand that there's nothing out there. You can't control that. The only thing that you can live in is the now moment, and it's living in that with that frequency, this vibration. And that's the fourth dimension. The fifth dimension is like when they talk about the heaven on earth, but it's also, again, it's about this stepping into like creation and like this consciousness that that you can create and align things within this moment, within this eternal moment, within this oneness. And at any time, this is what creates heaven on earth, is your frequency, your vibration is creating your reality. So you are creating your heaven on earth. So the fifth dimension tells you this, that it tells you that there's infinite source energy is available all the time, and it's the highest or the infinite potential, the infinite possibility, or the infinite outcome is there available. And all you have to do is remain in that energy, remain in that frequency, remain in your source energy. And it's seeing that all of these although we move through these different dimensional realities and experiences, also it's being conscious that you can also shift it and move away. Self mastery is the first step, and then when you get into self-realization, you realize that everything comes from you, everything is you, everything is working through you. Nothing is happening separate from you, and this is really, really important. So when you start to realize that, self-realization is about this self-realized being, that you are a creator, you have consciousness, and you have source energy, and it's always available to you. You're never separate from it. And when you start to look at this, you look at your mindset, you look at your consciousness, you look at your thoughts, you look at your emotions, and you know that you can shift and change those, and you can align those at any time, and then that energy is always available, and you're never separate, you're always connected. So you know that the energy is always available. It's only not available when you start to see that out there energy, and then when you start to lower your vibration and your frequency, and you're not in that source energy, vibration and frequency, that you are the creator and you are creation, that you are consciousness. And it's all about consciousness. It's all about understanding that consciousness drives reality. Consciousness brings energy into form, into reality, and you start to realize this. And when you start to do this, then you start to live from a different place. You start to express from a different place. You start to express in the now moment, where all the power is, all the energy is, all the vibrations, frequencies that are always available. And then you move to the sixth dimension, which is about I am creator and I am consciousness. That you are this creator of your own reality. You are consciousness, and you live within that consciousness. So if something's not working within your reality, you just shift your consciousness. And when you shift your consciousness, then like a new expression comes into play, comes through you and works through you, but you're creating it. And then when you start to do that, then you start to realize, then things start to align. Realities, experiences, events, people, all these things start to come to you because you're creating them, because you're vibrating from a different place of consciousness, a different place of creation. You start to realize there's no separation, and that you are the creator of your own reality. And it's living in that expression, living in that frequency, and understanding that things are always available. Nothing's stuck and nothing's set. Everything is always available, and all you have to do is live within that frequency. The sixth dimension is very much connects us to our infinite selves. It connects us to source energy directly, and it also connects us to our souls, which are here to express this infinite vibration, this source energy. And each soul is here to raise consciousness for individually, but collectively We work as a collective. We are part of a collective. We always have been part of a collective. We've never been separate. And this is the true sort of expression of source, that we're all one. Nothing is separate. We're not separate. We are one in one vibration. And this is what the power of now is about. This now moment is about. And people like Eckhart Tolle talk about this. It's about understanding that you're a vibration, you're a frequency, and your human body and your thoughts and your frequencies, through sensations, through your intuition, where you sit within your vibration, your frequency, then your emotions, your thoughts, everything aligns with that. And then it aligns in a more sort of expressive reality of a source reality, where you're expressing, through energy, through frequency, not through sort of practical thoughts, which is the first step of self-mastery. And so when you start looking at it like that, you see that there's a direct connection between all three of these realities. But you move through them. You move through them constantly within your reality. But you also, the more you're conscious and the more your awareness shifts, the more you have an understanding that you can move away from that out there reality, which doesn't exist, into into like vibration and frequency and source creation. And you understand it all comes from you. It's all working through you. You're creating it. Nothing is separate from you, and all experience has been created from you and as you and through you. So you start to realize nothing out there is really happening. It's only a reflection of what you're creating, and the universe is not waiting for you, but the universe is there. It's there vibrating within you, and it's all it wants to do is work through you for this infinite sort of like purpose that each and every one of us has as beings of light and energy and source vibration and frequency. So the more that we can be aware of these realities and these dimensional sort of like realities, and the more we can become conscious, the more we can shift and change our reality and move away. And this is the first step of self-mastery. And this is why first step of self-mastery and the three dimension is overcoming that logical, practical sort of reality, and seeing that it's not out there, it's created within you, and it's from you and as you and through you. And then you start to realize, then you start to live as this vibration, live as this frequency, live as this source energy. Then you move into the fourth dimension, where it's transformation and transmutation, where you start to use consciousness and creation to shift and change your reality and express yourself in infinite forms and infinite potentials. And this is what creates heaven on earth. And then you move and shift to the sixth dimension, where you are creator. You start to live and breathe and have awareness that you are this creator, and you are creating constantly, ever evolving, ever sort of expanding within this eternal now moment. There is nothing separate from you. And once you start to realize this, then you can shift and align your life for the purpose and the infinite perspective that you want, but also create the reality you want, which is the heaven on earth. So they're all aligned, they're all connected, and it's just about being more aware of it. So I wanted to share that today, because for me, when I sat there and I sat in that energy yesterday, I mean, like for me as well, there's a different sort of like, we're living in vibration and frequency. It's very different than living sort of like intellectually, and like, where you're using your thoughts. You live as a vibration. When I go inside my own energy as a vibration, and I go within myself and I create that vibration, it feels different. It's a sensation, it's not a thought. It's a sensation of energy and vibration and frequency and consciousness that's working as one to start to shift and change your reality and change my experience, because I'm expressing in a different way, and in a different way within this eternal power of now moment. And this is why it's really important that we live within our energy, because when we live within our energy, everything is available and everything is possible and nothing is limited. And this is the access to the infinite self, and also the soul and source vibration and source frequency. Well, that's the insight for today. Have a great day, and I'll catch up with you soon.